Hello everyone, it's Bibi Cameron here. Welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be making this super fun animated card. It has an animated background, but of course you can get stamps to create animated images, animated banners and sentiments, and the sky is the limit. I'm going to be using motion craft supplies, and I want to share in this video the very basic you need to put a card together. So you will need a stamp set. All these stamp sets comes with animation grids and also with dices to die cut the images in the stamp set. And you can see how the animation grid works. You can also get a die, which is this one here, and with this die you will be able to create your own animation grid out of cardstock. I love this die because it allows you to create your animation grids in different colors, and all you have to bear in mind is that the color of the cardstock have to be the same that the color of the ink you use to stamp the images. These animation grids comes in vertical lines and also horizontal lines, and depending the design of your card you might find one or the other more useful. These supplies are super clever and also super cute. So you can find a wide variety of images that move and jump and fly, just super amazing. But today I wanted to keep it very simple to get you into know the products. They also offer a wide variety of die sets, and you can create different animations and pull-up tabs with them. I have this one here in my hand, which is the one you might need if you want to create easily and effortless animated backgrounds. I'm going to use some of the dies in this set today. One of them is the die to create a pull-up tab, which is this one here, and the other die I'm going to be using today from this set is the one that creates a slot. And you only need to play with these dies once to know exactly what you can do with them. So now I'm going to show you my process to create this card. And the first thing I wanted to try was creating a large animation grid, and I'm going to place the die on the paper with the blades in that direction, so that when I put this through the die cutting machine, the rollers are going to apply even pressure all over the die, and I'm going to have a perfect die cut. Very important to pass this through the machine twice or 4 times because it's a very intricate die. So I found this tool the other day. I was watching TV and I saw this tool and I just bought it straight away to give it a try, and I'm telling you, I'm loving this roll away tool because it's so easy to clean this die just like that. You can also use a, how do you call that, a pick tool to get rid of the paper, but it's kind of tedious. So if you use a rollaway tool or tape or something to lift that paper from the die, it's going to help you as well in the process. So now I want to enlarge this die cut. Here you have to be very careful because the blades of the die could cut the grids you already cut. So you have to be very careful in the way you place the die behind the paper. And I'm going to make sure that these 2 holes here in the die are going to be very well aligned with the die cut grid there. And I'm going to secure the die using this low tack tape. And I'm using here the die cutting machine by Tonic Studios, which is very powerful. I tried this with the big shot and I have to do it 4 times. So a good thing to do is to check in the back of the die cut to see if the die went through the whole paper, and it did. So I'm going to be very careful and I'm going to remove the die from the paper. I got some papers stuck on the animation grid, so I'm just simply going to remove them with my hand. So I got a super large grid, and now what I have to do is to stamp the images. I'm going to stamp the clouds, and I'm going to be using a gray ink because my animation grid is also gray. And I'm going to use the Team Holtz stamping platform to be able to stamp over and over and to get a very crisp image. And I'm going to stamp these clouds a couple of times on that background. I'm going to use a cello bag to protect the paper from any ink on the stamp, and also to guarantee that my animation is going to be crisp and sharp, and there is not any stain on the paper that might result in spoiling my animation. I also need to guarantee that my images are straight. So if you see those lines that goes through the images, they need to go kind of vertical and straight, so the animation will work with no problems. So I tried the animation here and it's working. So the next step is to stamp these images on a piece of Bristol paper. I'm going to be watercoloring these images. I'm going to use my 6, which are water-based markers, and a water brush. So I'm going to show you really quick the process. And if you are new to my videos, all I do when I watercolor the images is lay down a little bit of the ink, and then I grab a water brush and I spread the ink towards the center of the image. So I also get lighter colors at the center of the images, but I want to focus today in the animation and how to put these elements together. You can also use motion craft images to create not animated cards in several different things. So the sky is the limit. So I'm going to use this square die here that measures 2.5 inches, and I'm going to create a window in a piece of paper. So this piece of paper here is going to be the front of my card. As my animation grid is larger than normal, I'm also going to elongate this die cut window. So all I have to do is to place the die like so and make sure that those blades are aligned with the next area of the paper I'm going to die cut, and that's it. I got a huge window. So now all I have to do is to die cut a slot. I'm going to make sure that this die is aligned with the edge of the window, and I'm going to run this through the die cutting machine. So I get this gap here so that I can slide through that gap this pull-up tab that I create also using the die set I showed you at the beginning of the video. I'm going to cut the animation grid because all I have to do is to stick that behind the front panel of my card. Motion Craft also offers this double-sided tape, which is really skinny and ultra sticky, and I'm going to use it here at the back of my front panel. And I'm going to remove the backing of that double-sided tape. So all I have to do here is to guarantee that that animation grid is completely straight behind this panel, so that I place it on my work surface, and I'm making sure that the bars in the animation grid are aligned with the edge of the window. I'm going to place the animated background behind that window, and I'm going to see where it looks the best. And I'm going to use a pencil here to help me to see where I have to trim that background panel to make the best of this image. And here all you have to guarantee is that the background panel is slightly larger than the window with the animation grid behind. I'm going to stick the pull-up tab. I'm going to use glue to do that. And once I have this done, I'm going to slide this pull-up tab through the slot in the front panel like so. So here we need to fix a problem, and it's that the background is going to be a little bit loose, or this background part is going to be a little bit loose behind the front panel. And to make it a little bit more steady, I'm creating a paper rail, and the function of this piece of paper here is going to stop the paper from moving behind that panel. I don't want to use double-sided tape because it's too thick and I want this card to be ultra flat. So after I stick that piece of paper over that piece of paper and all over the edges of the card, I'm going to apply double-sided tape. And while I remove the backing of the double-sided tape, I'm holding with my thumbs this background piece in place. I don't want that piece to stick to anything in the back there. If for any reason it sticks to the tape, it's not going to move. So you see me there, I'm always holding that piece in place so that when I stick this panel over the other panel, I won't have any problem with the motion. And you will see me through the whole video testing and checking if this background piece here is moving and is loose behind that panel, because that's the most important thing in this moment. It cannot be stuck for any reason behind the panel. So I just move the paper a little bit. You know, the paper has memory, so you have to move it a little bit and move it to make sure that it works, and it works perfectly. And now I'm going to use the Maxi Guillotine to make sure that I'm going to cut a perfect straight frame around this panel. And that's why I always use a larger piece of cardstock for this kind of panels, because my intention is to give them a better look and a better finish with the trimmer. So once I have this done, all I have to do is to embellish the card. And at this stage, the only very important thing you need to know is that any embellishment or image need to be adhered over the front panel and not over the animation grid, because I want to avoid any adhesive touching or ruining the surface of the animation background behind that grid. If that happens, the animation is going to stop. That piece is going to be stuck there, it's not going to move, and that's not the aim of this card. So that's the only thing. You will see me putting this together, and you will see that I'm applying glue only in those areas of the images that touch the front panel, but behind the image there is no glue at all in those areas that are over the animation grid. Okay, I'm done. So this card is huge. It measures 8 inches and a half by 4 inches 3/4. So I have to use 2 sheets of cardstock to create a card base, and then I just glue this white insert inside, and I just stick this panel on top, and that's the card. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like the motion background and the animations. There are so many different stamp sets in the Motion Craft website, and I'm going to be showing you those in videos in further occasions here in my YouTube channel, in my blog. Thank you very much for watching, and happy crafting. Bye! And check the links in the video description. I have the blog post there, my Facebook group, Instagram, Pinterest, and of course a supply list with the products I have used today. Bye!